love to hear where people are joining us from in the chat. Ooh, I got Guam. Fantastic. I saw Minneapolis. Nice. Seattle, you're right around the corner from me. Fantastic. Well, as you are entering that, we are going to go ahead and get started. We will do an overview of the event in just a minute, but we like to start our events at Seattle University with an acknowledgement of where we are physically, geographically within the Puget Sound area. So I will read that for us. As we begin our gathering, we respectfully acknowledge that our event today is taking place on occupied Coast Salish land and that Seattle University is on the homelands of the Duwamish people. We pay respect to Coast Salish elders past and present and extend that respect to their descendants and to all Indigenous people. To acknowledge this land is to recognize its longer history and our place in that history. It is to recognize these lands and waters and their significance for the peoples who lived and continue to live in this region, whose practices and spiritualities were and are tied to the land and the water, and whose lives continue to enrich and develop in relationship to the land, waters, and other inhabitants today. Thank you. And Colin has added our link to our Indigenous Peoples Institute if you would like to learn more about the land acknowledgement and other things happening on CLU's campus. I have a few folks joining me today that will be introduced as we go through the event, but my name is Michelle Etchart. I'm the Interim Director of Orientation Programs, and it's very nice to virtually meet you all tonight. My colleague Colin, who shows up as Seattle University right now in the chat, and I have been working, thinking, dreaming about interacting with you all, spending time with you this summer virtually, and then being with you all in the fall. So we are very excited to start this orientation program officially tonight. One of the things that we wanted to give you kind of an overview of the event. So we have a couple speakers who are going to share some helpful perspectives with you this evening, and I will introduce Dr. Shane Martin and Dr. Alvin Sturdivant as their turns come up to speak to you. This evening, we have a couple colleagues, Joelle Pretty and Mallory Torgerson, that you will see probably in the chat, but they and I, when I'm not speaking, will be in the Q&A. So if you have any questions, the best way, and you're welcome to use the chat to interact with one another. We'll try to watch for questions that happen in the chat, but the best way, if you have a question that you would like answered, is to enter it into the Q&A. At least in my view, where I see it is in the bottom of the Zoom box. If you want to scroll through, there are also answered questions if you're interested in what other people's questions have been. It's my pleasure at this point now to introduce the first of our two speakers to provide the official welcome to this evening's program. Dr. Shane Martin is Provost of Seattle University, which means that he's the Chief Academic Officer. He joined Seattle University in 2018 after almost 25 years in Jesuit higher education. So he's kind of a lifer, I think, at this point. He is a past president of the Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities, Education Deans Conference, and a past chair of the Association of Graduate Schools and Catholic Colleges and Universities. Provost Martin is an educational anthropologist by training, very interesting. His areas of expertise include intercultural education, inclusive excellence, educational policy, leadership, and Jesuit education. So please welcome Provost Shane Martin.
Michelle, thank you so much. And it certainly is a great pleasure to welcome all of you. So I say good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, because I know you're in different locations. In fact, I just looked up Guam and realized that it's terms of Seattle, Guam is 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So you're a little bit ahead of us. But welcome to all of you. I just want to tell you how excited we are to welcome you as new students into our Red Hawk community. And I hope that you share with me just great enthusiasm to be back on campus and to step into transition, I should say, back into life as perhaps we once knew it. But even as we think about this opportunity to be in college and be in the university next year, in some ways it's life as we once knew it. And in other ways, it's life that will never be the same. I want to acknowledge just what everyone has been through for the last year and a half, and the incredible challenges with a worldwide global pandemic, with a call for racial reckoning and the great injustices that have come to fore that are being considered in new ways, the incredible social movements that are calling us to reflect more deeply on who we are as community and society. And all of those, I think, lead me to say, despite those challenges, in so many ways, there's never a better time to say yes to a college education, and especially to say yes to Seattle University. Michelle mentioned that I've been involved in Jesuit education throughout my entire career. And that's because the values that Seattle U has as a Jesuit institution resonate with me personally and professionally. And we welcome you to be part of the community that shares those values, including the great personal care that we have for all of our students, our commitment, our deep commitment to social justice and building a more humane and compassionate world and society, our commitment to academic excellence that is inclusive, and ultimately the overall commitment that we can individually and collectively help to make our world a better, stronger, safer place for ourselves, for our families, and for everyone. So when we think about what we offer at Seattle University, it's exactly that. It's a transformative educational experience. You will be supported here. Our faculty and our staff are ready to help you be your best selves, and will go the extra mile to help you be successful. You'll also be challenged in good ways and stretched to think of things that perhaps you've not thought of in the same way before, new ideas, to put on and take off different opinions, to read and think and write in ways that you haven't before, but always with the help and support so that you can be successful. Jesuit education is transformative and prepares all of us for future opportunities in our life. As we've been preparing for this re-entry back to our reopening in the fall, we've been very thoughtful about this transition, realizing that for the last year and a quarter, our university has been primarily in a virtual format. And so we've done a lot of work to keep our campus safe and to have a good experience for everyone in the fall. As part of that, we have multiple measures to try to ensure the health and safety of our students, our faculty, our staff, our community, because health and safety is very important to us. We're asking all of our students and our faculty and staff to be vaccinated for COVID-19. And of course, we have a process for exceptions for those that have medical or religious reasons why they can't be vaccinated. But we know that the science tells us that the vaccine is really one of the strongest measures to keep people safe. And so that's very, very important. We have prepared the campus in other ways. We've increased our filtration systems, our air systems, our HVAC systems, so that we will have multiple ways to ensure a safe environment for everyone. And we're willing to work with you in ways that will help you be successful. You'll learn a little bit more in this session about how to connect with advisors and how to get your questions answered. But my big message is we are ready for you, we welcome you, and we are invested in your success. So get ready for us, we're ready for you, and we'll see you here in the fall. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Provost Martin. Really appreciate you being here, and thank you for your comments. That was really helpful, and we're so glad that you kicked this off with us. Thanks. We have an activity that we want to share with you at this point. So many of you have probably experienced doing a Menti before, but we are going to do a Mentimeter activity with you all, and would like for you to think about, we call this the Red Hawk launch, and we call it that because tonight really launches your orientation experience. So I know those of you who are starting college for the first time, you might have graduated from college. If you're from the high school, if you're from the immediate area over the weekend, some of you in different parts of the country, it's been in the last month. Those of you coming from community colleges, and may have graduated or finished classes. It's just a time of year when things are wrapping up. And officially today, you are starting as a Red Hawk. So you're in the transition process. So we'd love for you to think about what are the things that you are excited to launch into when you get to Seattle U. So when you what you'll do to participate is you'll go to menti.com. It's on the slide, menti.com. Or you can follow, Colin has put the direct link into the chat. And if you use the link in the chat, then you don't have to have the code. So we are going to ask you to follow that link and to enter some ideas about what you would like to launch into. And then I'm going to pull it up in a second and we will look at it together. Oops. We already have some answers. So Colin, if you want to stop sharing screen, I'm going to show everybody what we've got going. So you're going to see a couple things on my computer. Sorry about that, but we've got a few answers so far. New adventures, I love that. Relationships, learning more, new friendship groups. I saw a nursing school. I have a special place in my heart for nurses. I've got a couple sisters who are nurses. That's really great. Being the parent of a Red Hawk, I love that. Into the city. So we've got a lot of great things that people are excited about. I'd encourage you to continue adding to that, and we will, we'll add the presentation link in just a minute to the chat. And so once you have participated, you can go back and you can see the answers of all of the people in your class. All right. So at this point, I'm going to introduce our second speaker, Dr. Alvin Sturdivant. Dr. Alvin Sturdivant is the Vice President for Student Development at Seattle University. In his role, he leads a team working in many aspects of the student experience, from housing to student activities, university recreation, and even new student orientation. He also teaches at both the undergraduate and graduate level, so you could potentially be in Alvin's class someday. Prior to joining Seattle University, Dr. Sturdivant worked in housing and residence life, also at a Jesuit school, noticing a little trend here. His scholarly and professional interests include examining the effects of oppression and discriminatory practices in college communities, exploring the experiences of students of color in higher education, examining campus climate in the context of bias-related acts and behaviors, and exploring the experiences of African-American men in higher education. He also shares a wall with me, so fun fact, as you look behind each of us, that's the same wall, just two different sides of it. So please welcome Dr. Sturdivant, or as I like to think of him, my office neighbor.
Thanks so much, Michelle, and good evening, everyone from Seattle, and welcome to all of you, particularly the newest members of our Red Hawk community. As has been the case for as long as I can remember, this is one of my favorite times of the year, the start of summer orientation, when we launch a new class who brings with them joy, excitement, enthusiasm, and a commitment to learning and evolving, only really matched by your passion for shaping and transforming the world we all live in, something that you all have been committed to long before you made the decision to attend Seattle U. And despite the numerous challenges that the provost talked about earlier that we've all faced, this year is no different. No different in that you are excited and passionate and really looking to launch in ways that represent who you are at your very core. Perhaps this year, though, you also bring with you some caution, some nervousness, anxiousness, and a range of other emotions. Like all of you, I'm excited for our return to our bustling and vibrant Seattle University campus in the city of Seattle, and look forward to having the opportunity to gather in person and to be in community and fellowship with one another when we can gather over meals and experience passing hallway conversations among the many other examples that represent the college experiences many of you have dreamed of your entire lives. And in the case of our transfer students, had experienced up to the point that you were experiencing COVID-19 and its impact on our experiences and our lives. And while that's certainly the return to campus here in the fall is something to look forward to, there's much that happens between now and when you arrive in the fall that are critical to your start at Seattle U and you're being able to fully maximize your experiences once you're here in the fall. What you do now and how you engage with us through the summer will make all the difference in getting you off to the best Red Hawk start possible. Through a balance of in-person and virtual experiences, Seattle U is committed to your growth and development and investing fully in who you are becoming as a student and as a person. You too, though, will need to invest in your Seattle University experiences and will be asked to give of yourself, sharing your gifts and talents with all of us, and to fully commit to the co-creation of a dynamic and life-altering start to your Seattle University experience. This is a time when we'll each be asked to do our part. Wherever you are in the world, you are all a part of our Red Hawk community and family, students, parents, supporters, and the like. And we are committed to ensuring that the person again that you are now is changed significantly by your Seattle University education. And all of that begins at this very moment in time with your launch into your Seattle University orientation experience. Seattle U will deepen your understanding and appreciation for the world you will inherit. At SU, we are preparing you, our students, to understand and appreciate societies beyond the borders of the United States, thus making you more productive in the workforce and better prepared for global citizenship. At a time when we're grappling with the dual pandemics of COVID-19 and racial injustice and reckoning with those same issues on our own campus, at Seattle U, you will find leading authorities in your disciplines, sharing with you daily their insights and fostering your growth and development. At SU, we are committed to taking an interdisciplinary approach to our current problems, regardless of whether their origins are within the realm of science or in the realm of human society. We value interdisciplinary inquiry and welcome your contributions as we work together to really answer the big questions, those whose answers outstrip any one discipline. What better time to be a college student than when our world has in front of it many challenges that, quite frankly, your generation has the best chance of solving and advancing. Like any promising new relationship, these are exciting and anxious times for all of us as we extend and deepen the connections between you and the university, as we make meaning of old and new experiences, as we cultivate awareness and compassion in you and those with whom you encounter. At SU, you'll become informed idealists, people who are impassioned about righting wrongs and making the world a more humane place. We are committed to helping you become grounded in the realities of the issues you'll face through your work and studies and how you can affect change. At SU, we will celebrate the power of your individual voice and the power of our community. Those of you who seek to find your own voice, whatever it might be, will be guided through your relationships with faculty, staff, administration, and your fellow students. Here you will hone your craft and gain the confidence to call yourselves experts in your fields and disciplines. We are counting on you to enrich the life of this university, but also to enhance the cultural life of our surrounding community in the Seattle area and in the region. Certainly this can be challenging, but it requires an investment and a commitment from you to pursue opportunities to connect, whether virtual or in person, and to reach out to others when you feel lost or disconnected or isolated. It requires that we move beyond our comfort zones and embrace our current learning and engagement modalities, and that you take full advantage of the many opportunities presented to you along the way. As you embark upon this new journey that is Seattle University, this first step towards greatness, I wish upon you great joy, the academic rigor and challenge due your intellectual capabilities, experiences of a lifetime, and memories that will live forever in your hearts and minds. Seattle University will offer you a range of opportunities and resources. It is up to you to take advantage of those. Excuse me. I implore you to take full advantage of all that is available to you in the way of those resources, for it can only further enrich your experiences with us. Get involved and find your niche, whether it's taking advantage of support services, joining clubs and organizations, attending a campus event, attending retreats and immersion experiences, getting involved with the Center for Community Engagement. You'll find it all at Seattle U. It may be difficult to imagine how to take hold of your SU experience given your experiences of the last 15 months, but the tools are available to you for making your start at SU incredible. We are privileged that you've chosen Seattle University and look forward to the great things that lie ahead for both you and us. Welcome to Seattle U, and may God's blessings be upon you. Go Red Hawks.
Thank you, Alvin. I really appreciate that. As you probably saw, we're furiously in the Q&A trying to get questions answered. And so we will get to those, and I'm kind of collecting the ones that we have found are particularly popular. Some of the answers are going to be, it's a little longer than what we can answer in a chat, but there's a great session for that. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. But this next piece, I'm going to go into some of your resources, the schedule, some various things I think it's important that you know about. But before I do that, we have another activity that requires a little pre-work. So we're gonna do, when we get to the end of this program, a live wall with some fun social media posts. But in order to populate that, you all are gonna do the social media posts. So here's our hashtag, new to SU. What we'd love for you to do while I'm going over some really exciting resources, and I don't mean that facetiously, I'm excited about what we have to offer you. If you would take a selfie, either if you're on your own, just take a selfie of yourself. If you're there with parents or a roommate or a spouse or a friend or whoever who's supporting you in your journey, take a picture of yourselves and then post to social media with this hashtag. We will visit it at the end of the session. So thanks, Colin. We are going to share with you some of the resources that you have available to you as a new student. The two things I think are most important for you to be familiar with, the first of which is the website that we have. I think in a few of the answers we've actually alluded to the first year or the transfer student pages. So a number of people, for example, I'll answer this popular question. This is being recorded and we will post this recording, and here's where you'll be able to find it. The new student pages are on our website. If you make it to our front site, this is orientation, seattleU.edu/orientation. First year students, so this will be your first time in college. What you'll find is a page for you. I'm going to scroll slowly. And we have at the very top of the page some categories of things that are important for you to keep track of. Essentials are the tasks that we want to make sure that you get done, so that when you get here, you have a student ID, and you have your immunizations and all of that all set. So you'll find that. And then we also have some events or tasks or fun things for you to engage and connect academically, as well as how to create community. So those are the categories of tasks that we want you to be thinking about over the summer. What you'll find if you scroll a little bit toward the bottom is a timeline with all of the events that we have planned for the summer. So this is a great place. For example, I will highlight this event here, June 15th. So tomorrow is an event that Housing and Residence Life is doing, and they are going to go through the process for how to search for a roommate. If you have somebody that is that you have in mind to be a roommate, they will talk to you about how to go through that process in the housing portal. So a number of you asked that in the Q&A session, and I said in the housing portal. But if you have more questions about that, or you are in there and you're not sure quite how to work it, they will take you through that process, as well as some great tips for if you don't have somebody in mind, how to find a roommate. As we go through the summer, after this, at the bottom of the schedule, you'll start to see the recordings of the various sessions that we're holding. So tonight we're recording this, we'll get it captioned, and we will post it, and we'll link it or embed it on this website. So Colin is putting the links in the chat, but that's where you will find recordings. New transfer students, if you're coming to us from another institution, there's also a page for you. And you're going to probably notice that it's very similar in design. Some of the contents are the same, because some of the things that we're doing with new students, regardless of how you're entering, are the same. But there are pieces that are specific to you. So for example, our advising process is a little different based on if you're coming new as a first year student, or if you are coming with quite a few credits. And then family members, supporters, siblings, roommates. You might have noticed that there is also a page for family and supporters, which is what we call all the folks that are in your lives, new students, and helping you on this journey. So each of you has a tailored timeline, some tools, recordings of webinars and other sessions that will be useful to you. So that's the first place that, thank you, Colin, for putting those links in the chat. Students in particular, I would open those links, the one that's pertinent to you, and I would bookmark that right now. That's going to be a place that you're going to want to visit often. The other thing that I want to make sure that you are that you are aware of is the modules, the transition modules that we have invited you to participate in over the summer that are in Canvas. So in your SeattleU email address, you've been sent an invitation. If you were just admitted in the last 2 days, you might not quite have the invitation yet, but we're getting those out within a week of when you have confirmed that you're coming to SeattleU. So accept that invitation. If for some reason you can't find it, or it's not ringing a bell, or you go to your SeattleU email and you're not finding it, email orientation@seattleu.edu and we will resend that for you. Those modules are interactive. They're very informative. Students who have participated in our programs before have said that they go back to those modules to get information because they're really helpful. So we highly encourage you to take advantage of those and to be working on those modules through the summer. What that allows us to do is that in the fall, when we're all together, we can focus our in-person time on fun things, on discussions, on social events, on talking about deeper topics, rather than having a 1-hour session where we go through all the ins and outs of a particular service that we offer. We'll talk about those things, and I'm happy to answer your questions, but it's more fun in person to be talking with each other, meeting other new students, making connections. And it just is a way of we're going to answer some of your questions before you even have a chance to ask them. So that's the Canvas, the transition modules. The first thing that you're going to want to do, and all new students, so whether you're a first year student or a transfer student, is sign up for your small group. So all of you have been assigned to a group with other new students and an orientation advisor who is a current student. All the orientation advisors are in this webinar listening with you today. And you can find the times for that on the website that I shared with you. New first year students, you will also want to make sure that you have RSVP'd for a small group advising session. And transfer students, you will sign up for a one-on-one session because with credits, you're gonna need a little more tailored time with an advisor. So those are 2 tasks that each of you should be following up on right away. So those are the resources that I really want to make sure that you are familiar with. I do want to get to some of the popular questions that were in the chat. I'm seeing, and I'm going to ask my colleagues to either chat me or unmute yourself, and feel free if I miss one. First one was about recordings. So you'll find those on any of the pages for new first year students, new transfer students, for family and supporters. You can find those. Usually they're up definitely within a week, but often within 2 or 3 days after a session. There are quite a few variations on questions about how to submit a request for a roommate or finding a roommate. So I talked about that session that's happening tomorrow. I did notice quite a few, they were different questions, but questions about residents living on campus, residence hall rooms, specifics about rooms, or where you can find information. Housing has a pretty robust website and information on their website about specific rooms. Once you know what residence hall, you can even go to look at that particular hall where you're going to be living. There are also a number of sessions that Housing and Residence Life are offering over the summer. And if you are not able to find what you want on the website, those sessions are happening pretty regularly, and I would encourage you to attend one of those. I can answer some questions, but I don't spend a lot of time in a residence hall. So the housing staff would be able to better answer questions. And the link to their website is in the chat. Joelle or Mallory or Colin, any questions that you noticed that you think we should be answering that were really popular?
I am doing my best, Michelle, to answer all the questions about math placement.
Oh, great.
Which is garnering a great deal of interest tonight, which is awesome. And there's a lot of interest, or a lot of information in the Canvas group, in the pre-advising module. So questions about the math placement exam are best dealt with by reading through all that information so you can understand it based on your specific situation and experiences.
Thank you. Oh, and that was thank you for the nice setup there, Joelle, because when I talked about the Canvas group in the transition modules, one of the things that you will want to do before you meet with your advisor is to complete the pre-advising module. So the module which Joelle just referenced, where you can find the math placement information, that's a great thing to be looking at in the next week or two if you've not yet met with an advisor, to make sure that you are getting that information and best prepared to have that conversation. So I would highly encourage you to do that. Oh, and thank you, Colin just put, for family and supporters, if you're curious about what these mysterious transition modules might be, we have a public version that is about 90% of what is in there. This is not the same set of it's not the exact same as what the students are doing. It's most of the content, but there's also some interactive content in the student version, and only SU folks can participate in that. So that's the only difference, but all the static information and videos and all of that is open and available to you. So any other questions that we should talk about that we haven't gotten to yet tonight? Okay. So a quick overview of what to expect moving forward. So summer is full almost every day. We have something that you can choose from if you want to do that. The idea about the way we are doing orientation this summer is we have just a few required, really important tasks or events for you to participate in, and some tasks to complete. But most of what we offered over the summer is optional and meant to be a buffet of things that you can choose from based on your interests, your background, what you're concerned about, and often recorded so that if you're interested in the content but not able to attend the actual event or the session, if it's a session, that you can get that information later. So things that are required are indicated as required on your page, either for the first year information page or the transfer page. Your small group, we really encourage you to participate in that. That is a way that when you arrive here in the fall, you can already have some people that you feel comfortable with, that you are connected with and can potentially be friends. So it's also a way to connect with a current student at CLU. So we really encourage you to do that. Meeting with your advisor, signing up for classes. I think that is probably obvious, but we want you to make sure that you're doing that. But most of summer really is for you to choose what is going to be useful to you. So you'll find that schedule on those pages that I showed you. When we get to fall, for those of you who are going to be living on campus, move in for the most part happens on Saturday, September 18th. If you are coming from farther away geographically, so often our new students joining us from Hawaii, certainly the student, if you're from Guam, this applies to you. Arriving a couple days early is often really helpful. So we have limited spots. So if you're from Seattle and you really can move in on the 18th, we want you to do that. But for those who have a really particular reason, you can move in early. But starting on September 18th, we have a week of in-person programming. The first couple days are required and will fill your full days. You will get breaks. I'm an introvert. I get it. You need downtime. But it'll be really important students to make sure that you are fully available to participate in the orientation programming. So, get your shopping done early, plan on participating in orientation. Once classes start, we'll have some optional programming that will continue through the first couple days of classes that you can, again, kind of pick and choose a little bit more like summer based on what your interests are. So we are planning on in-person. Yes, some athletes do arrive early. Thank you for noting that. We are planning on being in person. We'll get lots of questions, I know, over the summer about what it will look like, what are the rules about social distancing and all of that kind of thing. If you're not in the state of Washington, just to know, we are experiencing, are working on some new under guidelines that were provided to us back in October. And so the governor's office is developing some new guidelines that we will for higher education in the state of Washington. And we expect those any day now, or by the end of the month, actually. So some decisions will be made based on that. And so just know that we're waiting on the information, which means you're going to be waiting on information. So for example, we won't be able to post a fall schedule of what's happening what day until July, because I need to know what the guidelines are so I know what I can put in what room. So we know you want to know all the details. I want to know all the details, but we're just not quite there yet. But as soon as that fall schedule is available, we will definitely let you know. But September 18th through the 21st, you can plan on all day, every day. You're doing orientation and then some optional things once classes start and that following weekend. All right. I'm going to give a chance for any questions about what I just talked about. If you want to, since I'm watching the chat right now, if there are any questions about what I just discussed, please feel free to put them directly in the chat because I'm looking at it. Was Anna's question the only one? Great. Let's do something fun and see how cool your live wall is that you've created. I'd love to see all the posts. So one of the things I wanted to share as we look at this, oh, I love this. Oh, I'm a cat person. So folks with cats, you get some extra points. I love this so much. One of the things I wanted to make sure that that folks took away from this evening is, that we are in this endeavor together, and that even though we are not physically together right now, you all are officially new Red Hawks, and we are so excited to spend this summer with you and to help you prepare to be ready for the fall, to help you start meeting each other and making new friends before you ever get to campus, and to answer your questions, to help you develop new questions over the summer, and to spend this time with you. So we hope that you feel officially like Red Hawks this evening. And we are so excited that you've decided to join us, and we think you've made the right choice. So I am happy to hang out and answer. I see the questions going up instead of down. So I think what we'll do is officially say at this point that the program is concluded. And so if you do not have a lingering question at this point, you are welcome to go. I'll turn cameras off so that I can focus on answering questions, and we'll stop recording, and we'll just see what we can answer in the next 10 minutes. If there are questions left that we're not able to answer, orientation, we can follow up with you separately. So feel free to leave us for the evening. Thank you so much. It was really nice to sort of meet you all, or at least introduce myself, but talk with some of you in the chat. And I'll get to answering some questions. So thank you all. Good night.